Hello everyone, in this episode of Day Job presented by Sparesbox, we get ourselves a written off car that's the perfect candidate to turn into a track toy. Now, I'm a firm believer that if you want to go racing at the track, that you should have a track car. Why? Well, street cars are often compromised just due to the fact that you still need to be able to drive it around. Now, a lot of people want to turn their street car into a track car, but let's face it, you're actually throwing a lot of money down the drain by doing that, because once you turn it into a track car, you can't then sell it as a road car again. So what do? Well, one way to do it is to actually find a damaged car that's written off that can't be turned back into a road car and turn that into a track car. Why is that? Well, the first one is quite simply just the purchase price. A sports car that you might pay 40, 50, 60 grand for, often you can get a written off car for 10, 15 grand, and you don't need to repair it as perfectly as you would if it was going to be a road car again. So for example, you can do polycarbonate windows and don't need interiors and buy aftermarket arms. You actually buy all the things that you may have bought for it anyway and save yourself some money. Now in this instance, instead of me choosing the car and coming up with the plan, it's surprisingly Grub that found the car. He might have a plan.
I've got a plan. I've got a plan.
So let's get this straight. It's a Hyundai i30N.
Yeah, which a car I think you like anyway, right?
I do. I've driven around the track. I actually really like them. I actually think they're a great little track car. I even remember saying, how sick would that be with some mods to make it into a track car? But the problem is, they're what, 50 grand new?
Yeah.
30,
it's quite a bit.
30 grand if this was a good car?
Second hand, 35 grand.
What'd you get for this?
9,000.
9 grand?
Yeah.
For a running i30N?
Running car.
And it just cosmetic damage? What happened? He hit something? Or?
I think it was a kangaroo strike. So we've got a little front bar damage, intercooler damage. I haven't actually had a good look at the car yet, so maybe we'll just cut and we'll put it on the hoist.
All right, let's just do that. Then we'll chat and let's go.
All right. From what I've seen, there's nothing majorly wrong with the front end of the car.
It just hasn't got a front end.
It just doesn't have the front end, which is, that's not a big deal. Like maybe that looks a little bent, but like...
Not enough to care for a track car.
No.
So we need the whole front bumper and Rio assembly, headlights.
The brake ducts, the wheel,
Now you make an aftermarket intercooler, right?
Yeah, we do.
So you have intercoolers.
I have an intercooler, we have an intake, we have a turbo to put on it. I think this car, it's got a dump pipe already and a full exhaust system, which is a bonus. The reason why this is all marked is because like it needs to be put back
to brand new.
So that's got a scuff on it.
So there's a broken bracket here which probably held the under tray.
Under tray, yeah.
Under tray got broken, bucket that got bent.
Yeah.
There's little marks and
not really, but that's not required for being a track car.
Who cares?
Right?
Yeah.
See here, like there's a mark on the.
Yeah. So they've already marked the damage out. So the sump's had a hit.
Yeah. So I'd say this is the main reason they've written it off.
It's just the sump to be hit.
Yeah, because if they can't guarantee that the engine is not damaged in some way, which is a risk we are willing to take.
So we're taking that risk?
Yeah.
Only because you know the owner?
Only because I know the car.
So if you didn't know the owner, this would be a bigger risk?
Bigger risk, much bigger.
Plus the fact we've started it up and moved it around?
Yeah, that's right. The auctions, you wouldn't know this.
Now, are you going to replace that sump?
We'll just pull it off and give it a whack, I think.
Oh, bang bang?
Yeah. It's only got a couple little dents.
Sumpy sump, bang bang, needs a new oil filter. We can get one of them from Sparesbox?
Yeah, we can.
That's probably at this stage the only thing we can get. So the theory is, if we've got to put the front end back together anyway, we might as well put on the bits that you would put in to start modifying at the same time.
Yeah.
So we're going to put your intercooler kit, a new radiator, new front end, your turbo, your exhaust, your intake, your catch can. Yep. And then while we're at it, we'll just do the quick things that we do for stage 1 of racing it. So we'll just strip the interior of what we can. And that'll be stage 1, I guess.
And then we got Shockworks brakes and coilovers to go in as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All in the first day job?
Yeah.
Day job. So now what? Your shop?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, how about I order what I can order?
Yep.
And you go, well, you're the i30 guy, so how about you
go
organise the bits that you organise, and guess what I'm going to organise? I'm going to get an oil filter from Sparesbox.
Beautiful. Get some oil, would you?
Ta-da!
Oh, beautiful. Okay, so we've got the i30 back from Motive Studio. We're back at my shop at Impossible Fab. So recognizing that this car was actually a really good platform for modification, we took it upon ourselves to start making a few bits and pieces. We started with an intake kit, and that sold really successfully. So we thought, you know what? Let's stop everything that we're doing and we'll focus all our attention on designing and developing this car. And now we get to fit all of our parts, plus get this thing back on the track. What we're going to do is, the engine's almost out, as you can see it. So there's probably about half a dozen bolts we're going to take out. We can pull the engine out, which is going to be the easiest way to change the turbo. And then we'll put the engine back in, put the front end on, intercooler, intake, and we'll just get this car driving. Hyundais, man, dangerous cars. Oh sweet, this one's already got a bush in it. We made up this frame just to help us get the engine out by ourselves. Should be good to take the engine mounts out. Pretty much we just pulled it out to change the turbo. It's a little bit easier to do it with the engine out. As you can see, significant difference. Standard turbo, the biggest issue is that it falls over at 5,000 RPM and the car revs to 7. So that's like a whole heap of power band that you just don't get. So with this turbo, we'll get the same response as this factory turbo, but it revs all the way to 7 and makes heaps more power. So now we've put the turbo in and got the engine back in. Now we're going to do probably the hardest repair work that we have to do, which is pull the sump off. And the glue that Hyundai use is like, I don't know, man, it's like rock hard. So once we get it off, we'll panel beat it straight and then we'll glue it back on. So regular viewers of this show know I don't have a great track record of draining oil. So hopefully this time I'll do it a little better. No guarantees, but hey. No! So what I'm doing is I'm just trying to use little clues to see if we've got any engine damage. So what I'm going to do is just wipe my finger around the corner of the sump and then using this white rag just blot my finger on there. Okay, so now we can see, basically just look on the rag to see if there's any metal particulates, bits of powder coat from the sump that's cracked off. Once again, we're just looking for little clues that might lead us to having to like inspect the engine further. So it's just good practice, you know, if you're doing this kind of thing. So I can see up here, where I've pried the sump off, you can see up in here, there's quite a bit of aluminium swarf from where I've accidentally scratched the engine block surface or the sump mating surface. Right, so pretty much we don't want any of that stuff once we've finished this job to be in here. Fortunately, it's made of steel, so we can use hammers and to knock it back. The more I look at it, the more I realized how damaged this thing is. So I think I might first try and get this back to the right shape and then work on this area second.